What's up guys, this is Coach Donny from ElevateYourself.org. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach, volleyball player, and personal trainer who provides volleyball tutorials, jump training workouts, and other cool volleyball videos. I also offer online jump training programs to help you increase your vertical jump, which you can find in the description box. Many of you have been asking me to do some commentary and reactions to the Olympic volleyball games. So here I am with my first official Olympic volleyball commentary video. I've actually never commented a volleyball game before, but I'll be honest, one of my dreams is to one day become a volleyball commentator where I get to travel around the United States and commentate college games and professional games and hopefully the Olympic Games one day. I offer a unique perspective being a volleyball coach, volleyball player, content creator, and social media influencer. For my first game, we have USA versus France from the preliminary Pool B, which should be very exciting. I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's really great to see Boyer back on the team. Now some of you might be asking what happened to Aaron Russell for the USA team. He unfortunately had to miss this Olympics due to a hip problem that was ongoing, so he finally went through surgery. And something that's unfortunate is that he was one of USA's best outside hitters as well, and they were doing really well with Aaron Russell on the court. I wonder if the Olympics actually did happen in 2020, if he could have made it to that Olympics before undergoing surgery. So that was really unfortunate. Now we got Eric Shoji here on the court, arguably the best libero in the world, especially in serve-receive. And then we see the other one of the best liberos in the world, Grebennikov, for France. So this is going to be a defensive battle. Really looking forward to it. France's top server on the line, we got Ingapet. He's got a really heavy jump serve with a little bit of side spin cutting to the left. And we got four-man receive from the US. Great pass by Eric Shoji. Tempo set to Matt Anderson. Great dig by France, out of system swing, high hands, dealt with it well, set the middle, yep, got to establish that middle early. And one thing that's great about a lot of the top teams in the world, specifically with the USA team, you saw that pass was around 7 to 8 feet off the net, and comfortably Micah ran Max Holt. And Max Holt, I believe this is his third Olympics, if I remember correctly. And he just continues to get better with age. And now we start off with Matt Anderson, USA's top server here. He's got a very high toss and a whip of an arm. Hard serve right away, free ball transition, USA should convert. And Taylor Sander, amazing big hitter. Taylor Sander is only 6'4", so I apologize for the international fans listening. That is a little bit undersized. Okay, good, we got measurements here, 1.96 meters, but look at his reach, 345 centimeters. I believe that's 12, 1 or 2. I mean, that's incredibly high. And we got the calm before Matt Anderson's serve, so France should be able to stay focused to see if they can pass this. He tossed it a little bit under him, so he didn't get as much power. Oh, great dig by Eric Shoji. Another fantastic dig with Ingapet. Short pass by Max Holt, and then quick deep ball transition. Middles, if you're listening out there, even if your main job is to hit and block, you need to learn how to pass, because look at this play. First of all, great left-handed dig by Eric Shoji. Max Holt passes the free ball, and they got two blockers set up, but you see how Chinese was a little bit late to that. And that's the power of what we call an in-system offense, where the pass is passed perfectly, all three hitters are going. Matt Anderson is off to a great start here. Another high toss. This one's better, a little bit more forward, and you see how much more power he has. Slowed down by the tape here. Tony Uti to Tilly. Oh, great dig by Grebennikov. That's how we see his amazing defense here. Very rare that a hitter at this level does not put it away one-on-one. That means one hitter against one blocker, and TJ DeFalco is usually amazing at that. But you see Grebennikov's great defensive play. He just gets in there, makes a pure read, and keeps the ball off the floor, giving France another opportunity to attack the ball. So let's see what this review has. Doesn't look like a touch. Smart play. I mean, against a well-formed three-man block, you do want to swing high hands. And for those of you who are wondering, why would a hitter aim out? For Ingapet, who's shorter than the block, he has to aim upward to ricochet off the block for a tool, and that's what he's going for. So it might seem like a silly hit if you're not familiar with volleyball, but that's a very strategic hit. He just missed it by a few centimeters. Great pass by Ingapet on the 3-meter line. Good soft block. Setters, good play defense. And TJ DeFalco attacks high off the hands here. Max Holt makes a smart play. Micah Christensen overshoots him on Max Holt's left shoulder, but Max Holt is such an experienced middle that no matter what set you give him, he's going to do something really smart with it. So you see how it kind of goes over his left shoulder a little bit high, and Max Holt just tries to put it in a tough spot. That's really what makes Max Holt so great. He is a physical player. He hits hard, he touches high, reads well on the block, but his experience and his decision making really makes him a world-class middle blocker. Oh, I take that back. Patry is actually playing opposite hitter, not Boyer. Wow, France has Patry and Boyer on the roster. Those are two gigantic opposite hitters that can both contribute at the highest level. Really great to see such depth on the French team, excuse me. Another high toss from Matt Anderson. Ooh, he's letting it drop a little too low. Oh no. I wonder why they switched Eric Shoji to play middle back. Because if Eric Shoji was left back, he probably would have gotten that one. Not to say that Taylor Sanders not a good defender. He's a great defender, but usually he's playing middle back. So I'm really curious what that shift was. It was probably some strategy to scout for France's offensive pattern during that rotation. That's my only reason why I could think they switched it up. Then you got Chinese with a jump float, well handled by Taylor Sander. And there we go, tempo set to TJ DeFalco. And even though TJ DeFalco is also undersand, he's got a fast and heavy arm. Oh, that's one-on-one against one blocker. So Patry is probably around 4 or 5 inches taller than TJ, but TJ's speed and power is what really allows him to beat the bigger blockers. Now TJ's serving has been a little inconsistent. We'll see if he can dial it in now. Okay, it took a little bit off to get a rhythm. That's a good start. Great pass. I don't know. Let's see who netted. You can always tell by the body language of the blockers to see who nets. Let's take a look at Max Holt here. Shuffle block. A little bit late. Okay, that was clean. Oh, unless Sander touched it. You know, I think according to the volleyball rulebook, you can technically touch it 2 to 3 times as long as you're blocking in one motion, but the block, he touched it the second time on the way back, so I wonder if that's still considered a single blocking motion. Now, if the ref did call that, that's a pretty heads-up call. The ability to see that second touch from Taylor Sander, that's very observant. We got Patry. By the way, for the French fans, please let me know if I'm mispronouncing the French names. That was a great dump, but Micah did show that a little earlier, so I'm surprised they weren't able to get a soft block here. See how he runs up. Okay, he runs it with 2, that's why. I take that back. How dare I doubt Micah Christensen's dumping and setting ability. He was very deceptive, so as a setter, you want to go up with both hands to always make the blockers think you're going to dump, and then throws it down at the last second. Max Holt. One thing I did notice with Max Holt's performance recently is he's usually such a dominant server. He's been struggling a little bit, and I wonder if that's some of the remaining nagging injuries. I believe he had either a shoulder or an elbow injury recently, but he's still hitting and blocking at a very high level, so we'll take that trade-off. We got Kevin Tilly, played for UC Irvine in the USA. Oh, what an amazing dig. And we got David Smith taking that ball. Here's an interesting background information with David Smith. So you notice that David Smith has some hearing aids. He's deaf, He can hear and read lips a little bit, and I know when the teams that he plays on, the rule is if David Smith calls it or goes for it, you just have to get out of the way because he can't hear you coming. And the best part about David Smith is he's very aggressive. So when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And look at him set up Matt Anderson with a great D-ball swing. And Micah serving also. He used to be an amazing server in college and during the beginning of his professional career. Something happened. He started tossing, I think, a little lower, trying to get a little bit more of a hybrid in there, make it more drivey, and he hasn't gotten that same consistency back from his college and early pro days, so hopefully he'll get that back in the Olympics. Have Legoff with a great jump float, easily handled by Matt Anderson, and TJ DeFalco. He is just running on cylinders. Having TJ and Taylor Sander is like having almost the same type of athlete. They both get on the ball so fast. So Chinese, you see he's on the way down because he jumped with David Smith. Wow, this is rare to see a top team with two quick outside hitters. Usually it's one big one and one fast one. Ooh, great serve. That's that hybrid that Micah also has. But Taylor Sander, low toss, a little less topspin, and it just doesn't drop as much. It kind of gets at your chest a little bit. What's even better about that serve is it's in the seam between Tilly and Engapet. So very well aimed jump serve here. Low toss. Got a little curve on that, a little bit of a hybrid. Let's see if they can get a swing out of this one. No. Free ball pass from Taylor Sander. And David Smith, also a recent European champion who played on the same team as Tony Yuti. So this is what's exciting about international volleyball. We have the middle here playing with his former teammate in his professional club team with Tony Yuti. And David Smith, as the announcer said, he's 36. That's my age. And look at how explosive David Smith is. Takes such great care of his body. Third serve by Taylor Sander. Trickler, France lets it go. Notice that France follows the ball out in case it does drop in. That's a very fundamental technique you should always do at every level. Very good habit. Now the lead is 6 points, but it's only the first set. Teams are still finding the rhythm. And Tony Yuti has this famous hybrid serve, and we see that fast bick again from Taylor Sander. Amazing. His ability to get off the floor and just elbows already high, and he gets on the ball fast. A lot of people make the mistake of having a really big wind-up, but this is why you need a very simple arm swing so you can get on the ball fast like that. And let's see. Yeah, David Smith serving, another great dump server here. What's interesting about David Smith's serve, he doesn't broad jump as much. Ooh. Engapet gets a few bounces every single match. This guy is just incredibly athletic. And on both sides, you see that. Now look at his technique. He's squaring up to the net as a right side hitter and then follows through to his right shoulder. Really important as a right-handed hitter who's going to be hitting on the right side. You have to jump square to the net first and then rotate into the court. Pass 20 feet off the net. Tempo set. Tip from Matt Anderson, Toyuti. We haven't got a lot of middle action yet. They haven't had a chance to establish too much middle because France has been passing very well in serve receive, so it's really good to see them running the French offense and getting Chinese going. Donny's wearing the Harden shoes, the Harden basketball shoes. I just did a shoe review on that. I forgot what number those, 8s? I already forgot. Engapet with a serve, takes a little bit off of that one.
Engapet misses this time, but high risk, high reward stuff from Engapet.
And interesting, if you don't know this already, the coach, his last name is Tilly, so he's the father of Kevin Tilly. And there's definitely no nepotism going on because I've seen Kevin Tilly get subbed out. I've seen other outside hitters start over him, and Tilly it definitely has earned his outside hitter spot on the French team. Still tossing it a little bit too behind him. Another heavy swing. Interesting that they're able to run this without establishing Chinese yet. But He sells it so well, and then Ingapet just comes right over to the left. You notice that the big hitter's running slightly to the left of the middle so they don't land on each other. Chinese with a good jump float here, taken by the middle. Great cut by TJ. So once again, another great reason why middles need to learn how to pass. So he takes that from off the net and just right over. That's so fast. That's below the antenna. So it's like a missed 3. So no wonder Legoff got faked out, because it looks almost like a 3. And DeFalco just hits right over that.
Christensen so far.
Let's see if DeFalco can get something going with his jump serve. Okay, roll shot. But, oh, miscue by Tony Uti, very rare. But a smart play by Kevin T. Lee. So what Max Holt was trying to do there was trying to wipe it off a block that he thought was going to be there. But because the ball was coming over his shoulder, he couldn't really see the block. So, smart move by Max, but an even smarter move by T. Lee. Now we have the point differential reduced to 5 points. Petri with the serve. He hasn't really gotten a lot of swings in this game, so shoulder might not be fully warm. Great save by Taylor Sander. A little bit tight set. Another reason why athletes should train how to spike with both arms. Even if you don't hit that hard with your off arm, he's flexing his bicep there with his left arm. You need to have control for those very moments where your right hand can't reach it. Whether it goes across your shoulder or slightly in front, the ability to push it into the blocker or just to save it, keep it in. Max Holt. A lot of tape in this match here from a lot of the serves on the U.S. team. Ooh, great swing. Great dig by TJ. And the back one. Wow. Little shimmy shake from Micah. That was an amazing set. So, quick transition from David Smith. And Legoff is a little late, because who the heck runs this play from far left? Micah does. But interesting enough, Grebennikov actually read that and was ready for the dig. Unfortunately, he couldn't keep it in play there. 16-9, the point differential continues to grow, but like we said earlier, it is the first set. Teams usually use this as an opportunity to get into rhythm. And you notice that Coach Tilly from France is not too worried. Interesting. David Smith jumped with, oh, this is a great view. Wow. I love how they're always improving video, technical analysis technology. David Smith jumped goofy-footed, which means left-right. Probably because he was forced into the back position from the block. Great pass by Grebennikov. Legoff is built like a rugby or a football player. He is just a physical player. Look how thick his body is, and he gets off the floor. So why are they doing the double sub here? A lot of teams now are doing what we call the 6-2 double sub, where you bring in another opposite when your setter rotates to the front row. And especially if you have a little bit shorter setter like Tony Uti, this gives you a little bit more size at the net. And I'm sure statistically setting front row is maybe a little bit more efficient than setting back row, even though back row attacks are highly efficient in today's modern men's game. Great pass, and establishing the middle again. Ooh. Usually Grebennikov picks those up pretty easily. He was probably anticipating a much harder hit, and then David Smith took some a little bit off. Another benefit of having an experienced middle, age 36, played a lot of volleyball games, so he has more than one speed. A lot of young players out there just want to hit at one speed. You need to have a lot of tools in your toolbox. Great serve by Micah. Even better pass by Grebennikov. And we got the heavy hitter Legoff against Max Holt, hitting high off of David Smith's hands. And Brizard, I think he plays in Russia. Brizard is a very physical setter. Look at that musculature on him, and he's pretty tall. Legoff, decently experienced, 29 years old, into another jump float. Pretty well handled by Taylor Sander. But when you have a lightning fast hitter like TJ DeFalco, you can run the Bic 3 meters off the net and keep it in system. Wonder what Eric Shoji is telling him. I was like, hey, you got to pass that one a little better next time. Just kidding. Not everyone can pass as well as you, Eric. Last time, Taylor Sander, I believe, went on a 3-point service run. Let's see if he can get a little bit of an edge. Ooh, a lot of heat on that one. That one just died going for the same seam. Great play, and Eric with an in tempo, a little bit higher than TJ wanted. So depending on your system, if your libero sets, you either want it to be higher because it's out of system, or if it's a good pass, like here, Eric might want to keep it in system. So I'm curious what USA's offensive philosophy is, because TJ was a little bit early, or it could be Eric set him a little higher than what he's used to. We'll have to see on the next play when Eric gets a chance to set TJ if the same thing happens. That's the tough thing about the 6-2 is you have to come in cold. So Boyer here has to have a hard jump serve coming off the bench, and you have a little box in the corner. You can do some jumping jacks and some squats, but going in this late in the game, it's really hard to do. Davis Smith with another opportunity. He doesn't broad jump as much. You look at his toss, he doesn't really jump into the court nearly as much as Taylor Sander or Matt Anderson. Oh, great read from Micah. Another amazing day from Greg Brennikov. Good swing from TJ. Ooh, they might challenge this. Nowadays, once you challenge it, you'll realize that what we used to think didn't touch the block actually bounces off the net and up into the block on the wrist. See, with Brazard, you see how he jumped up with his left arm instead of two arms, so that's how Micah was able to read that a little earlier compared to Micah's dump where he jumped up with two hands. So let's see what comes of this challenge. Now, whether or not you think they touched the ball, it's important to still slow down the game. I mean, 2012, you're down 8 points. Okay, here we go. We got to see this bounce from Chinese. Yeah, you see how not super aggressive from Davis Smith. And this is why you got to serve tough at the international level, because you got monsters on every team, and if it's a great pass, you set the monster, and he just crushes that. That's tough. You'll see how Matt Anderson had to leave early, because sometimes the go set, the set to the left side, looks almost the same as the shoot. So as a blocker, you have to read, you have to take a chance sometimes on who you think they're going to set. So that's why Matt Anderson wasn't able to help with the three. Even better pass by Eric Shoji. Oh, that was a little bit slower of a pick. Usually Taylor Sander runs that fast. Great dig from Micah. See, that's the outer system set that I think they're usually running for the USA. Ooh, we have Boyer hitting for the first time. Ah, that's tough. His second swing of the game. That was a great transition scramble play. So, going back to the previous play where I think TJ got blocked when Eric set him, I think he should have waited, because it looks like their system in the USA when the libero sets is just a high ball. Micah has had 3 or 4 very key digs. This is just my bias towards setters. Usually setters aren't going to play that great of defense because they're probably thinking about their setting and it's not their main focus, but Micah is a world-class setter. Ooh, little waffle. I don't think I've ever seen Matt Anderson waffle ball. I've seen him hit out into the net, but to waffle, that's rare. Sometimes the lights, the way they line up with the toss or the court, believe it or not, it sounds like an excuse, but it can be very difficult if you happen to toss it not in the best place. Chinese with an easy serve, and that's what happens. Got to make your passers move. Short, deep, left or right. Taylor Sander doesn't have to move as much, and you see how Micah Christensen takes a look at the block to see if the middle's following him. And Legoff did not follow him. He was staying in the center, so he set the 3 to make the middle move, and Max Holt had a free gap to swing at. TJ DeFalco still kind of taking off from his serve. They handled it pretty decently. And Boyer's first kill. You can see how hard he's celebrating. Sometimes you can get so frustrated. You serve into the net, you get blocked, and when you get your first kill, you're just ready to explode. And like, finally, that's my chance. Look at that great high swing, swinging off of the inside hand of Max Holt. And we have Brazard. See how physical he is. That's a great jump serve. Very rare from a setter. Oh, I don't know why you would drop on that. Yes, the set was on the 3-meter line, but when the hitter's in rhythm, that's a great bump set, and then the 3 blockers choose to back. But look at how aggressive Taylor Sanders' approach is. you usually drop when you see the hitter slowing down their approach or dropping the elbow. That means they're going to roll shot it or just keep it in play. But Taylor Sander was going hard the entire time, so you have to stay committed to him. Decent serve by Max Holt. Boyer with the swing. Ooh. But the one thing, even though Broussard is a little bit taller and a little more physical, it seems like he gives his sets away a little earlier. Because the USA has been consistently able to get 2 blockers. And that wasn't a terrible pass. That was decent. 2 more points to finish the game for USA. France ready for receive. Let's see if Max Holt can put a little more heat on this one. Great pass by Kernikov. And going right back to Boyer. He's saying, yeah, look at, that's what I can do. And I love when setters repeat hitters. That's a great way to show your hitters that, hey, I trust you. I'm going to get at you again and give you a chance to redeem yourself. Even though Boyer just got blocked, you got to keep your hitters in the game.
But this is a marathon,
Tilly with the jump serve.
not a sprint.
Got some good pace, all right. Forced the bad pass, and France had a lot of time to set up on that block. Eric Shoji asking if that ball was out here. Let's see where he contacts the swing. Ooh, into the hands of Boyer. On his outside hand. Okay, Boyer does a great job turning his thumb right outside hand up to redirect the ball back in. Very disciplined blocking technique. Taylor Sander was trying to tool him on the outside hand, but Boyer turned it back in. Ooh, great swing. I think that's also kind of a semi-hybrid serve. Matt Anderson is so good out of system. That was just a high ball set to the D ball, and Matt Anderson broad jumps and puts his whole body into the ball. I'm curious what the challenge is. Maybe the 3-meter line violation?
From France, may as well use it through the kitchen sink at it, but
yeah, I think you get 2 challenges per set, and if you win the challenge, you can keep challenging. If you lose the challenge, then that you lose those abilities throughout that set. Okay, so they're asking to see if the ball was down first, I believe, before he faulted the center line, or if he faulted the center line here.
no fault.
Oh. Ingapet's wearing the Adidas Stables. I also did a shoe review on that. It's pretty interesting to see people wearing all the shoes that I've reviewed. Also the Nike Hyper sets. The Hardens, the Adidas Stables, and the Hyper sets, all 3 shoes. I see a lot more players wearing the Hyper sets. Not the best for wide feet, by the way. So if you have wide feet, don't recommend them. If you have normal sized feet, pretty decent. Hybrid serve, handled easily by Ingapet. And in system, that's what happens. If the serve is not tougher, if you can't bring your setter further off the net, it's hard to stop 4 hitters going at maximum speed. And I know that Mike was trying to make it tough, just handled better by Ingapet.
Set points for the USA.
Great pass by Taylor Sander. Good turn. Ooh, good hustle play. That's what you're going to expect to see from France, is a lot of hustle. I mean, every team hustles, but France just has this extra conviction, probably because they always feel like the underdogs of the European zone. But they've really earned their way into the Olympics just from just sheer work. I mean, you see the passion that they play with. Almost kind of reminds me of Brazil volleyball team here. The second set, interesting that they have David Smith serving first. Usually you want to start with your best server, Matt Anderson.
Should be feeling comfortable and confident.
Unless they're trying to line it up so that they have better blocking matchups between where certain blockers match up with France. Oh, that's a good blocking lineup. We got TJ DeFalco, which even though he's undersized, he's actually a very good read blocker, and he gets over the net fast. I'm just blown away at how good his blocking was at the VNL. Then we got Max Holt and Matt Anderson, very good blocking front row. And don't get me wrong, David Smith is actually a very good jump server. Good high swing, now that Boyer's warm. He is in rhythm. When you're not warm, you don't jump as high. When you don't jump as high and you can't swing as fast, the ball drops lower. Now he's fully warm, so he's getting to elongate to his huge frame and great vertical and swing into the hands. That's usually where you want to swing, especially against a well-formed two-man block. Let's see if we can get a serve going here. Great serve. Decently handled by Eric Shoji. Almost got that dig, but Taylor Sander just gets on the ball too fast, and he hits hard. He doesn't just hit fast, he hits a heavy ball. And for such a thin frame, and he's gotten more muscular over the years, but he's still very thin, he can generate a lot of power on the ball. The great thing that's been enjoyable to watch TJ DeFalco's development, he's gotten thicker. He's gotten more muscular over the years, so lifting weights is really important for your athletic development. He tossed that a little bit too far back. Ooh, it's a rare miss, very, very rare miss. Because even though you pass the ball on the 3-meter line, most teams will still consider that a pretty good pass, and especially if you're going to be running a 3 with the middles, that gives you a lot of space to work with the middles, and it opens everything up. So that set might have been too low, hard to tell from that camera angle. So let's see if Matt Anderson can toss the ball a little more forward so he can put his whole body weight behind it. That's better. Oh, even though that was out, that was still a great fluid serve with a lot of power, right? Might be out by a couple inches or a foot, but the fluidity of the serve, the ability to put his body weight into it, the whippiness of the arm. So if that was in, probably would have been an ace or a really tough pass. Now Kevin T. Lee, he's got a great serve. It's fast, but I think it's also some type of hybrid, because the U.S. seems to be struggling with it. Ooh, great swing. I wonder if that was in the seam. Let's see if it's in the seam. Ooh, I think it is. Now Tilly is pretty well positioned, and Matt Anderson has great vision. Look at that, he's already looking through the block as he's swinging through, and Tilly doing the best you can. Usually when you see a small hole in the block, you usually want to step forward, but he probably thought that seam might have been too small for Matt Anderson to take advantage of. Good broad jump, very well handled by Tilly. Ooh. Usually Engapet deals with that really well. He's able to wipe that, but Micah Christensen is probably turning both his hands and pushing that ball back in. Okay, no, that was almost straight into the net. Yeah, Engapet's one of the smartest players out there. He has every tool in the toolbox. You don't know what he's going to do, and 80% of the time it's going to be very effective. Teaches the Falco with a pretty decent stump serve, takes a little bit off there to try to place it. They must be targeting Engapet. He must be their serving target, because that's the second serve that was out toward the sideline with Engapet. Now what's interesting enough is that Engapet, he's a decent passer, but maybe relative to Grebennikov and Tilly, he's the weakest passer of that three. Great pass by Shoji. And easy put away with Max Holt. He doesn't even have to hit his hardest. One thing that's great about Max Holt is he swings high and deep into the court. So even though hitting straight down is flashy, okay, it looks like that ball was just outside of his reach and he's able to still get a piece of it. But a lot of young players will just try to hit straight down. That's how you get blocked. Look at these veterans here swinging deep into the court. That's like his third one off the tape here. Interesting. That was a tempo bump set. I wonder why US doesn't do that, because I know Grebennikov, I've seen him set tempo. That means a faster set, even though it's out of system in the libero setting. USA, you keep it pretty traditional, where with the libero sets they just set it high and hittable. I mean, Eric used to set in high school, so he definitely has the ability to run an offense. Man, lightning serve from Bizarre. They should have used 3 blockers on that one. Oh, great cover by Eric, and gets out of the way just enough for Matt to transition. That's one thing that Matt is well, he's great at a lot of things, but he's especially good at the short transitions. So great dig by Grebennikov. Matt has to almost pass inside. He comes back around for the D ball and turns it back into the angle. It's so hard to change your momentum like that. To move short for the pass. I know he didn't pass it, but he moved in like a pass. Swing out to the right and then swing left. That's why he's considered one of the best players in the world. A lot of balls missed into the tape, into the net. Usually when you miss, you're going to try to serve out, because at least the passers have to think whether they need to pass or not. Let them make a decision. Easier for me to say. I'm sure these hit players are not trying to aim into the net. They're trying to get a good tough serve over the net. Just adding a few coachable tips for you guys. What's interesting about Ingapet's serve is he starts off the sideline and comes in at an angle. That's interesting because as an outside hitter, you would think you'd want to mimic your left side approach. So I'm surprised he's not starting left like Taylor Sander and some of the other serves. So you see how Taylor Sander is starting more on the left to mimic his left side swing. Ooh, great play by Boyer, pushing into the block. Now Micah or TJ could have grabbed this one. I wonder where the miscommunication was. Or Taylor Sander. Okay, they both thought someone was going to get. Here's the funny part. That's another play where Eric Shoji was in the middle back instead of playing his traditional left back. I think Eric is spoiling his team by always getting those balls up from the left back. Great pass by Taylor Sander. Wow, to pass from the right back and then to come all the way around. Look at that pass and then come all the way back around for the big. Now Legoff read that play pretty well. He's able to fully commit, but one-on-one is hard to stop at this level. Taylor Sander has just reached another level in passing and hitting. He's actually a pretty good blocker too, so we'll see if he can get any blocks this match. David Smith back on the serve. That's a good broad jump serve, but maybe not his type of serve because he did hit that low. So I usually see David Smith kind of jump more up and down and not as broad jumping as someone like a TJ or a Boyer or an Ingapet. So maybe that was just a little mistoss, more in front than he anticipated. So here you'll see he's a big broad jumper. Oh, actually no, he's usually a bigger broad jumper. He did toss that a little too close to himself and a little bit too low. So if you're jump serving, in general, you always want to err on the side of too high than too low. Here's an interesting statistic here. USA has 8 service errors and France has 4, but you look at how USA is up by 1 set and they're up 10-7. So service errors at this level are not necessarily a bad thing if you're serving aggressively, because when you do make it in, usually it's because it's a really tough serve. So they're going to trade off. They're going to take the risk for the greater reward, and it has been paying off for a majority of the teams, and especially the USA team, because they've been passing well. If you're going to continue to side out, you want to take more risk on the serve. Nice little hybrid from Tilly, but still not tough enough. And oh wow. Okay, that's tough. Usually Ingapet does something crazy, kick to save, but there's probably a bench in the way. Oh, that's a pretty good save. I mean, the Barrows and any defender really, you just want to try to get your body in the way. And he was angled a little bit square to the net instead of left shoulder forward, so it kind of shanked away from him, but it's so hard to control when you're trying to dig with your chest. So that's that big broad jump that we're used to seeing. Pretty decently handled by Tilly. Great dig by TJ. Let's see if we can get transition from Matt Anderson, and he does. Look at how sharp that swing is. From the D-ball back row attack, he is able to hit it just beyond the 3-meter line. That's incredible. Look at that cut. That's right in between Bizarre and Boyer. Very difficult ball to dig, and Matt Anderson has every shot as well in the toolbox. He can hit hard, he can tip, he can roll shot, he can push. And he's 6'10", and he has a good jump. He's just smooth. His mechanics are near perfect. Very fluid and smooth arm swing. And he continues to get better. Let's see if France can muster a comeback together. Now, even though Ingapet is a very talented player, he does seem to let his emotions get the best of him, sometimes his frustrations, and that can bring down the team. And as a team sport, You can't do that. You can't do that if you want to win at the highest level.
France do get the ball in, and Engapet finally
Great no-look tool
initiates himself on
by
this game.
Engapet, and
Sanders really had his number.
even if you post well, the no-look swing that's well executed, it's really hard to stop. He's aiming for the edge there. Great draw by Legoff, pulls Max Holt, and just swings crossbar. That's one of my favorite ways to tool as well. Legoff probably with another hybrid. Ooh, that's a downward hybrid. Very tough serve, but when you have Micah Christensen who can set it with one hand, three-man block, oh, great swing. So remember Engapet's swing from the first set, that was an out. This is what he was trying to do at that time. Aim into the fingers and let it skim off the top for an easy tool. Now it seems easy because you might think, why can't I just hit in the hands all the time? It requires a lot of accuracy, and the risk is if you're off by an inch, you're going to hit out. Good pass by Eric Shoji. And again, you see how hard TJ DeFalco hits. It's the same speed as Taylor Sanders, but wow, I'm surprised to say this, but it's a little harder than Taylor Sanders, and Taylor Sanders already hits incredibly hard. Chinese does a good job of still keeping his hands up on the way down. Middles, actually any blockers, you have to keep your hands up on your way down because you might get a lucky block or slow down the ball, even if your time is not perfect. Great serve, very far off the net against a triple block, and again, Engapet with a smart swing. Most teams have their opposite as their garbage man, or the person that gets them out of trouble in out-of-system plays, but for France, they have their outside hitter, Engapet, who they want to set when they're in trouble. And look at that, 6 for 9. That's a really, really great attack percentage. But USA has been siding out well, so let's see if they can continue to get another. Oh, Brizard serving his rockets here. Man, look how hard that is, but very well handled by Taylor Sanders. And we know who USA's garbage man is. When they're in trouble, they're going to set Matt Anderson. Now, what's interesting is Brizard probably has one of the hardest serves in this group. I would say actually the hardest serve. You could hear the sound, you could see the pace, and you could see his build. And the reason why Taylor Sanders is able to handle that pretty easily is because it was right at him. Servers usually want to aim in the seams and make their passers move. Ball handled by Engapet and running the Bic. Oh, so Brizard ran that Bic a little far off the net, and you see how Tilly had to slow down his arm swing just to keep it in play. So it was a little under the ball, so he couldn't hit as hard, but Tilly does a good job still snapping it down. So Tilly's still, you see how he's a little under it because it wasn't set tight enough, but oh, Micah stole that from Eric, and I'm sure Eric's going to give him some crap about that later. Great pass. Oh, amazing dig by Brizard. Great swing. Let's see if they can put it away out of system. And TJ takes it. Oh, great swing from Taylor Sanders. So that one, you see how USA pulled off the net because they saw Tilly slow down and kind of roll shot it in. So that's a good time to back away from the net. But if he's going hard into his approach like Taylor Sanders did from the first set, you have to stay up and block. So USA did a great job reading the play, reading the hitter, coming off the block for the dig. Those are blocking signals of who you're going to block or what you're going to take. Oh, that was a hybrid serve. So you see how the ball doesn't spin very much. We have Chinese with the serve with his jump float. Let's see if he can get something going. Well taken care of by DeFalco. Interesting about that set, it looked a little high and over TJ's left shoulder, but he was able to get a high tool off of that. You see how he had to lean a little bit, but great way to deal with that. Let it keep going across his shoulder and let the momentum carry into that tool. Great lesson for hitters. You don't need a perfect set to get a kill. Once the ball leaves the setter's hands, it's your job to figure out what to do with it. Great serve, well taken care of by Tilly. And in system with Boyer. I think he hit over TJ. This is how high Boyer jumps. Look at that. Over the top. Incredible. That's clean. We call this OT. Oh no. Okay, it was a round. Wow, TJ gets up on the block. His hands are almost at the top of the antenna for someone who's only 6'3", 6'4". Great vertical long arms. Another great pass by Eric showed you. Wow.
From France. But you really
That was a little bit of a
have to
low
admire
set. If
this
you see,
performance from the
hopefully they'll show a
USA. This
replay.
is
You'll
the
see
way
Max Holt hit down here, but
Going
another
to play
great
throughout this
example of how
competition. They are
Max
going
Holt,
to
no
cause
matter
many
what
a
set he
headache.
gives, well, no matter what set he's
world-class
given,
teams.
he is able to handle it very well. Man, Anderson, he does really well when he tosses it forward beyond the
Serve
baseline. See if he
has
can do
been
that.
one of the
There we
main
go. Took it a little bit
reasons
off.
for the success of this performance so far. Tilly
Well
is
slowed down
stuck.
by Max Holt.
Defender just sitting on the
Interesting
outside of the
in-system
block.
set by
Anything
Micah
blockers
inside
don't
of
get.
him.
It's gonna be
Well
Soji
played. Let's see if they
spinning
run the
the
bic
seams
with
back
Taylor
there.
Sander. No, they choose to go fast to TJ, and TJ cuts it a little too sharp.
Almost free ball pass.
So either TJ was a little too early or the set was dying inside a little bit. Let's see. Ooh, I think he just tried to cut that one too sharp. He saw that. That was a good set and well-timed hitting rhythm with TJ. Just got a little too greedy with that one. And we have T. Lee with his drivey fast serve. See if he can get something going with that. Great serve, but even better pass with TJ. Good dig. And they run Engapet. Ooh, they bring their hands down. Engapet, that set was a little bit low. And Engapet tries to go for those high hands again. I do appreciate that Engapet sees that it was his error. You can see by his body language that, sticking his tongue out, putting his head down, he apologizes to his teammate. That's what you want to do with your team. When you know you could have done better, you immediately apologize to them and you take responsibility for that instead of blaming your teammate. Which is something that Engapet has done in the past, though. So it's really great to see him hopefully evolve a little bit into a little bit better teammate, make his team better. Oh, that is a monster block. That's a stuff block. You can hear how heavy the sound is. Look at Boyer. It's interesting he jumps from off the court to get that wide approach. And that one, Boyer just brought the swing down a little too low. Hits it into the forearms. When you swing against a block, you usually want to keep it high there. So maybe Boyer thought that the line was open and he tried to swing down the line. So that's tough. I've done that many times before where you see the sliver of line and you feel like you can get it and you just hit it a little bit into the block instead of a clean line. So a 4-point differential, already better than the first set. Like off with all his earrings and jewelry. (19-15) USA. TJ with that broad jump serve. Ooh. So what these servers are doing is, the reason why I keep saying the top of the net, they are aiming for just above the net. You want your serve to be as flat as possible. If it's too high, there's a chance it could go out. But also, when you aim it lower, you cut down the amount of time that the passer has to react to the ball, so the ball essentially gets on them faster. Have not seen Yasune on the court before, so this is his first time. Easy jump serve in, and man, Taylor Sander just lets that drop inside his shoulder a little bit and then bounces across his body. Look at this, lets it die inside his shoulder and then just turns it down the line. It's actually not a bad block. Brizard was trying to get in front of him, and maybe Brizard dropped his right hand a little bit more, but that's so hard to do in a split second. T. Lee is a good passer, so I see why they're trying to serve Engapet. High off the hands, there you go. Smart play, fast transition, so that was a really great dig. And Micah gives Taylor Sander just a little bit more time on the set to let him rise instead of trying to force it. Oh, great scoop dig by TJ. And Taylor Sander sees that the set is a little tight, so he just keeps it high into the hands. And the worst thing is, it's easier to replay, and he gets a really good tool off at that one. That's one thing that's really great about TJ is he's a pretty complete player. He blocks, hits, serves, passes, and he works hard on defense. He's not just all about the hitting. Ooh, that's an older Max Holt serve. Even though that ball was passed well, that's what I'm used to seeing from Max Holt. Curious where this ball went. Probably went off the left edge of Taylor Sander. Look how high Taylor Sander gets. Okay, so you see Taylor Sander reaching in on the inside. What's happening is Taylor Sander jumps up and then sees Boyer starting to aim down the line, so that's why he's trying to make a late move. And that's tough. When you're a solo block, you want to make big moves like that, because if you don't, they're just going to hit around you straight down. So just a little bit late of a decision, but when the ball's moving that fast, that's the best you can do sometimes. Interesting. Look, even though Matt Anderson is not able to jump full speed, he still does so many great things with the ball. Every time I watch him play, I continue to get impressed with his decision making and his ability to work with the situation. I wonder why the USA has pink shoes. Wonder what their reasoning for that is. It's not a typical color for men's volleyball. Angapet with a great pass, and Shinezi with the tip. Oh, interesting that they were starting so deep in their base defense. Base defense usually is the first line of defense to defend against the setter dump and the middle hits. So maybe they didn't think that the middle was going to run the middle from 10 feet off the net. Maybe the scouting report shows that they're not going to run the middle that often from the 3-meter line. And we got France's one of the best servers, but he hasn't got a serve going in this game. It's been Tilly, and I think that's about it. And maybe Boyer. Okay, that's a better serve there, but well handled. Oh, that is classic Matt Anderson. He can bring the heat. A lot of people think maybe he just can't hit that hard, or he can't hit these angles, but look at that. He does it when he needs to. Everything else is a very high percentage shot. So what happened was he saw the blocker take away his line, and then the last second, Matt Anderson hits away from his body, gets on top of it, puts the ball away very easily. Great serve, good rundown by Brizard. So that's an aggressive approach by Tilly. That's why the USA stayed there. Ooh, nice play. Let's see if he runs. Oh, runs a quick set with TJ. High ball set with TJ. Let's see if he can do it against 3. Another amazing dig from Grebenikov. Let's see if Tilly can put this away in transition. He slows down a little bit so you can see how he gets a soft shot. Runs quick from David Smith, and David Smith doesn't even have time to get off the net. He just takes one step off, a quick 2-step approach. That's a hard-working middle. Setters, reward your middles for the hard work they do, and they will work even harder for you. That's the lesson you got to learn with these guys. And David Smith, one of the hardest working middles out there. He's only 6'7", undersized in terms of the top 10 teams in the world, but still considered one of the best middles right now. Good roll shot from Tilly, or sorry, Sander. Amazing dig from Eric Shoji here. Fast to TJ, a little bit too low. Good dig by Grebenikov. Just misses the block there. That was a great swing though. Anything that's just out by a foot, that's still a good swing because you're swinging deep and challenging over the block here. We'll see if France challenges the block. This is a good one to challenge because it's already the end of the set. You haven't used any challenges, or you still have a lot left over. Ooh, I would have challenged the touch because that was visibly out, and there's a higher chance that the blockers would have touched the ball in that one. Kind of a lucky nick of the finger there. Now my prediction for France, sorry, I got a little itchy nose. It's 10 p.m. at night on a Saturday night. I've been playing volleyball and coaching all day, so my voice is a little tired, so I apologize for the stuttering. But my suggestion for France is they should bring Tony Uti back. They've gone closer with Brizard compared to the first set, but if you're down 2-0, you got nothing to lose by making a change here. Boyer has been playing well, so maybe Tony Uti and Boyer can continue to build on that. Maybe try a new middle, because France has not been able to get a lot of soft blocks or touches. Grebenikov has been playing really well. Angapan and Tilly, their passing unit has been good on the defense, but they are struggling a little bit on the read blocking. So maybe Legoff, maybe change him out to see if they can get a little bit of different blocking chemistry, because they're getting offense from Chinese at least, and a few soft blocks, but they're not getting a lot of blocking production off of Legoff. I wish I had the stats in front of me so I can make some accurate commentary. So if I am misspeaking, I apologize for that. I just don't have the stats in front, just based on what I remember from the game. Alright, now we have Klevino. We have not seen him yet, so I think he came in for Tilly. Tilly was passing well, but attacking-wise was struggling, and not a lot of blocking production, so this is an interesting change. Ooh, immediately off to a soft block. That's great. Great dig from Petri, another change there. So a lot of big changes. Interesting, they did not bring Tony Uti back on. They kept Bizarre in. We'll see if they can get something going a little bit better than set 2. It was close, back and forth, but USA was in control pretty much the entire time. And Matt Anderson, he has a very specific serving routine. Good breathing, presents the ball. High toss, and then loose arm. Great serve there. Decent pass by Grebenikov. We got Petri with that high swing. Oh, great swing. Just caught Matt Anderson a little high, and that's the benefit of swinging high and deep. Petri doesn't swing as hard as Boyer, but I would say Petri makes slightly better hitting decisions. And we see 2 of the French members wearing the ASICS Sky Elite, one of my favorite volleyball shoes. Another shoe that I also did a review for. Too easy of a serve, but well read by the French team. Ooh, good roll shot. Way to take out the D-ball hitter. Now they just focus on 2 hitters. Oh, unlucky play. That's a dangerous play, though, when you go under the net like that. Even if you're going all out, you just never want to injure another player. It just feels terrible. But knowing TJ, he's just so competitive that he's not thinking about anything else other than getting the ball up. Ooh, he could have jammed a finger on that one. Dangerous play. That's the line, the thin line that champions, well, I wouldn't say champions yet, because TJ DeFalco isn't a champion yet, but the champion mindset. They do not think about their body. They just think about winning. Great way to deal with a short serve. Oh. Another great cross-court swing from the back row. I don't know how you can even hit that angle on the 13-14 foot line. And the great thing about the way they're setting Matt Anderson is they're actually not really setting him that tight. And this is the reason why I think they're not setting him that tight. You would think that because he's 6'10 and can broad jump, you want to set him right on the net from the back row so he can really get on top of the ball. But setting a player a little further off net allows them to reach a little higher. And when you jump 40 inches and are 6'10 like Matt Anderson, you really want to maximize that vertical, give him that range there. 3-man block. Ooh, that's a hard swing. And again, Ingapet, I love his team mindset right now. He immediately raises his hands and say, hey, my fault, that was a great set, that was a good set. Still hard to hit. I've seen him terminate on those type of sets before, so I just love his attitude right now and the way he's really trying to get his team on a team mindset by setting the example, taking responsibilities for your errors. Good roll shot. Chinese with a pretty decent pass, and Petri, man, USA, honestly not known for superior blocking like the Russian team, but they are read blocking really well. Look how Taylor Sanders is able to finish his hands before the swing. That's really important. You want to finish the block the moment before the swing is finished. And he is only 6'4". Great vertical, long arms, and more importantly, great volleyball mind. He reads the game really, really well. And TJ DeFalco with the short serve. See if he goes for it again. No, he goes for the hard one. Oh, great Chester dig from TJ, and great transition swing from Matt Anderson. This is frustrating as a team, to get a hard swing and then to lose a point in transition so often. Great swing. TJ just continues to get better with every game I see him watch, and very rarely do you get to see excitement from John Sprawl. He's usually very calm and collected. They are just on a roll here, and he continues to go hard. I'm surprised he doesn't keep it short because that's been working. Oh, and Engapet tries to hit that high line. Wonder if they're going to switch out Engapet sometime soon. This is his third hitting error. And these are playable balls. These are balls that a setter can get to and they can still take a good swing. So either the coach is just letting Ngapet find his rhythm, because this is, I think, France's first game of the Olympics, so maybe he's just letting him find his rhythm because they know they're going to need Ngapet later, you know, in the more difficult matches. So there's that short serve taking the middle out. He should have just crushed that. So you see how Micah goes up like he's about to hit, so he does the reverse and then puts his hands together to actually run the set. See how he's about to hit with his left hand, pulls Chinese, and then easy one-on-one put away with Taylor Sander. And Brizard's mad because he did a V block, which means you're spreading your hands to try to take up more space, and he hit right through that block there. USA is just operating on another level. Oh, this is a really cool angle here, the spin. And look at that. If Grebennikov cannot react to it, you know it's a hard hit. I would say Grebenikov's defense might be just a little bit faster than Eric Shoji's. Grebenikov's reaction time is amazing.
This is maybe the magic of the Volleyball Nations League.
TJ's on a great serving run here. A lot of top net plays. Oh, just missed. I wonder if that rattled through the arms and off the head. Another reason why I think a lot of these servers are kind of hitting the tape of the net at the top. Yeah, rattled off the head. It just looked like that because I know exactly what that feels like. It just looked like that. Another reason why I think a lot of these servers are missing is because it's the first game of the Olympics. This is the most pressure-filled game of a 4-year span, so people are just kind of dialing in their energy and figuring out their rhythm. A little too far off the net on that set. Good help block. Oh, great hustle by Matt Anderson. Even better hustle by Micah. And this is, let's see if France should convert this free ball here. Oh, short set from Brizard. Smart play by Chinese, and you see them discussing that. Brizard probably apologized for that, but this is still a win for the U.S., even though they lost a point. When you get this amount of hustle, wow, great way to adjust to that. Brizard, I think, was just falling back on the set and didn't get his feet set, so he his momentum took him back, and that's why the set died. So, but great hustle. Sometimes, even when you lose those points, when you hustled that much and you kept the ball in play, that still feels like a victory for your team, and that's going to pay off in the next 3 to 4 points. That just gives you so much more energy, knowing that you have the ability to work that hard and keep the ball alive. Short serve, taking Max Holt out of the play. Great choice. Left-hand play, great cover by Eric Shoji. Reset. Let's see if they can convert on this free ball. I would run the middle again. Oh, 2 great one-arm plays. Wasn't a super hard hit from Patry, but Patry, he's about smart decision-making, going high off the block. Great touch.
And take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, that's a great dive. And you see how TJ is playing defense on the back line or slightly behind it. He's expecting a high touch off the block. So Patry just changed his hand just a little bit, and great smart play. That's great to have 2 different opposites. You have one power opposite that's just going to blast it and touch super high and be physical, and then you have Patry who's going to add a different rhythm, a smart player. You don't want 2 of the same players on the roster. You want to have different tools for different teams.
Serve this time.
Soft serve. Oh, I think that might have been going out.
Still moving, trying to make a read and adapt as quickly as
I think Micah might be overshooting Max just a little bit, because that's like the 3rd ball that Max has gone a little bit of backspin. In the U.S., we call it waffling the ball, where you don't get clean contact and it just sails or floats, and usually floats out. So luckily Grebennikov touched it. That's why the entire French team was a little frustrated with that one. 3-man block. Oh, good swing. Another high deep swing from Patry, and TJ was positioned for that sharp angle, which is usually what most people do on that 3-man block. But Patry, being the smart player he is, look how high it is around the block and at the height of the hands. So this was a good change of pace for France here, and he's coming in and making a huge impact for them, closing it to a 2-point lead. I think it might be the shortest gap. He's hitting 5 for 10. Yeah, I think it might be time to take Ngapet out, because everyone else is doing so well. everyone else is contributing, and the only reason why is Tilly must be just allowing him to figure it out. He's got to figure it out in this match. Even if they lose, this is still just one match, and they're trying to think long term for future matches, giving Engapet a chance to work his way back into his better form. Smart swing, just a little bit out. That's the risk that you take when you try to swing that high and into the hands. Sometimes you miss hit. It's a very difficult skill to execute here. Gosh, that is frustrating. You see the frustration on France's face, where they knew they were within striking distance, only 2 points behind, and then now back to that 4-point gap just with some tough errors there. Amazing pass by Grebennikov, a little bit low set by Engapet, but he just gets on that ball so fast. I hope they replay this one in slow motion. You see how Engapet just keeps his hand already up and follows through, very similar to elbow up and elbow high, very similar to Taylor Sanders' arm swing. Just simple, back and up. Nothing loopy, nothing fancy, just simple and straightforward. Oh, amazing day from Brizard. Good three. That's a good swing from Klevno. Good cover from Chinese here, and Klevno with another chance. High swing. Let's see who hits this out of system. Matt Anderson. This is his specialty, a 3-man block. Ooh, good cover from David Smith. And now we have Taylor Sander high off the block. Oh! Maybe Engapet should have called off Brizard from that play because he had a better angle, but with not a lot of time to think, that's probably the best you can do. Good high swing. Look how he's attacking the hands. That's the best part to attack. Now you saw that dig earlier from Brizard where he dug Taylor Sanders' hardest hit of the match. He dug that with ease. Brizard plays in Russia. In that league, they have probably the hardest hitters in the world consistently on every team, so he's used to seeing that level of heat.
Deflated.
Solid serve from Taylor Sander. Takes Klevno out. Klevno recovers, hits high off the block, and let's see if he runs David Smith. Oh, he runs Matt Anderson over David Smith. He knew that they were going to jump with David Smith, uses David Smith to draw the block, and right over, you see Legoff jumps right over like a popcorn machine, and Matt Anderson goes cross court. Doesn't even have to hit as hard, it just cuts it super sharp, and Patry cuts in a little too much. The way you dig Matt Anderson is you have to stay deep on him. He's rarely ever going to go for that bounce ball, and you just have to give that to him. If he bounces the ball, give that to him, but got to stay deep if you want to dig him. Oh, great turn. There must be a hole in that block, or maybe through Anderson's hands, because very rarely in an out of system swing like that. Oh, I think Matt Anderson just gave him too much line on that one. Very rarely do you see a hitter hit that hard in an out of system situation like that. One thing I would like to see Engapet do is just be a little bit more engaged after his pass. You see him standing on the court. He can be ready for the pipe. You know, cheer his teammates on mid-play, be ready for the next point, but he looks a little deflated now where he's just, after he passes, he just kind of stands there, and you got to be ready. You got to be ready, especially at this level. Amazing serve by Patry, just catches him a little high, and Eric opens up his shoulders a little bit, and that's why the ball shanks to the right. Very rare error by Eric Shoji. Eric Shoji usually very technical. And there we go, squares up with the shoulders, keeps the ball in front. And good help by Klevno. Almost had that block there. That's a good read. The waterfall where the ball goes in between the block and the net, usually that happens when you're pressing at the top of your block versus on the way up. You want to push over the net with your hands on the way up of the block so you don't let the ball go in between your arms and the net. Wow, 4-point game, but it feels like almost like a 7 or 8-point game based on the momentum and the body language of both teams. You know, France just looks a little deflated here. David Smith serving right at Engapet with the easy pass. Oh, that was a great view from the baseline. Very, very, very fast set. Right over the middle. Max Holt gets slowed down just a little bit, and Klevno gets that clean swing. And the reason why Matt Anderson's late, because maybe he thought it was going to go right to the middle, so it made him hesitate and not have time to react. So great setting choice and execution by Brizard. Klevno with the easy put away. Let's see if he can get something going on his serve here. Nice deep serve. Probably was out. You heard Eric Shoji scream out. Oh, good cover by the middle. Oh my gosh. That is nasty. That is nasty. France got caught watching the ball. So great play from TJ. Attacks the hands, and then we have a middle. Oh, and Matt Anderson is just ready. We have Max Holt covering. Another reason why you got to have your middles pass. Look at that contribution from Davis Smith and Max Holt, both passing and being ready for defensive plays there. Great cover. Yeah, I would be mentally worn down if I was France. Just trying your best and every transition opportunity. And you see France celebrate extra hard. That's a great way to deal with this. Even if you didn't earn the service error, that's a point, and you got to get energy going, especially if you're down. So I think they sense this.
Prelims of Olympic Games 5 years ago.
I think Lagoff should aim for TJ. TJ, yeah, he's usually one of the weaker passers, but he's passing well here. Max Holt just getting the job done. He's not hitting as hard as TJ or Matt Anderson, but he's scoring lots of points. Just being efficient. He's a pretty chill guy, kind of introverted, but an aggressive player, so he's taking it easy.
In Brazil, and Sparrow said that.
And for TJ to play this well composed in his first Olympic game, that's also very impressive mentally.
As well, maybe more so than they had in.
Oh, another great high swing from Petrie. If they could just combine Patrie's hitting ability in terms of his decision making and tool bag with Boyer's physicality, that would be a complete opposite. That would be essentially like a Matt Anderson. You have the power, you have the decision making, you have the defense. 3-point game. Bazard, he's a powerful server. If he can serve in between, if he can find a way to aim his serve in between two players with that amount of heat on the ball, he could put USA in trouble and maybe even earn one ace. Close it to a 2-point gap. That's striking distance there. Now, striking distance means if it's a 2-point game, anything can happen. You can get lucky, you can get one good play. And see how Engapet's just standing there after the pass. He needs to be ready to hit and call for that.
David Lee is a change in the middle, now playing volleyball in the USA.
And now we have Engapet starting to get frustrated with his team, even though the play started off with his bad pass there. Oh, that's the V block. So he's trying to take away line and angle, because when you're solo like that, you're not sure what to do, and he just hits right through. And Taylor Sander knows he got a little lucky with that waffle hit.
That USA team included a great performance from Reed Pretty coming off the bench as well.
All right, good pass from Grebenikov. See if they can run. Oh, good tip. What's interesting is that set was 5 feet off the net, pretty far off, and you see how Petrie has just been hitting deeper and deeper and deeper, and the USA keeps backing up, expecting for that high off the block hit, and Petrie just puts a very easy tip right behind the block. So I'm surprised that the USA, I'm actually not surprised that the USA couldn't get that, because Petrie's been just selling the hard hit, high deep hit. Engapet has not been serving well this whole match, but this might be his chance to. Oh, there we go. That's a tough one. If we were to break down the technique on that one, so what happens is TJ is forming at center and then adjusting to the angle instead of setting the angle first. But that's so hard to do, especially with the amount of speed that Engapet has on the ball and the cut. The ball just kind of shifted to the right, so that's tough, super tough. Easy to deal with right off the net. And TJ comes back. I don't think TJ, he's missed one big, but every other time has been very terminal. And that's every outside hitter's favorite play. Pass from the back row and running for the big bick. What we call running the Jiba, or the Dante. The Dante from 2004 Olympics. Look that up. Dante Amaral from Brazil. He runs the best bick ever. I have not seen anyone top that yet. That's a better miss. We talked about earlier how when you do jump serve hard, you want to miss out, or any type of serve really. If you're going to miss, you want to miss out. Make them call it, make them make a decision making. Now Tilly in here, he's got a great jump serve. He's going to bring in a little defense because France knows they have to make a move. They have to go all out. Even though this does not allow Tilly to go in for, sorry, hit the mic here, does not allow Tilly to go in for another player, it's toward the end of the game they have to make a move, get maybe one extra dig, one extra ace, and Tilly's been serving well. But USA's been passing even better. And another great pick from TJ, and Tilly almost got that one, probably a lot closer than Chinese would have been. Oh man, oh, Lagoff read that pretty well. Look at that. He went with David Smith, didn't commit, and then committed to TJ, and one blocker. It's hard to stop that big, especially coming at that speed there. Let's see if USA can close out this match. Taylor Sanders has been serving really well. Ooh, another one into the net. A lot of missed serves into the net. That's rare. I think people may be getting used to the stadium and depth perception, even though I'm sure they've had a chance to practice. At this level, these things matter. It's that 1 or 2% that makes the difference. And Patrice got his deep serve, well handled by Eric Shoji, and quick turn. That's David Smith's bread and butter, his favorite move. Hang, wait for the blocker to take away the right, and just turn to the left. See how Lagoff takes, ooh, as a push one. Lagoff just didn't get in front of him, so that's what we call a push, where it's not a traditional A quick right in front of the setter, it's a little bit past that, so Lagoff just had caused him to overreach. And David Smith is so good turning across the left side of his body here. And there's that broad jump serve, something that David Smith usually doesn't do. Yeah, Brazard's just been making a couple setting errors. I'm really surprised they don't have Tony Uti. And Tony Uti, he's a smaller player, not as strong of a server, but his setting is very accurate, and I personally believe he makes a little better decision making. I mean, he's won one of the world's toughest tournaments, the European Championship. So interesting side note from Laurent Tilly from France. He was also a professional player, and he played for the French national team. Great player in his own right, I believe in the 80s. Another serve into the net. I'm sure this will correct itself for both teams as they get used to the environment, get used to the stadium, and get used to the pressure with each game. Now the USA is off to a much better start than their first couple matches in 2016. They were very nervous. Ooh, high deep serve. That's a pretty long miss, but I'd much rather have that than into the net. And Matt Anderson has an opportunity to finish the game here. They're up 5, they only got 3 points left, and USA does not act like they're up. They are just focused on the next point, and that's a sign of a great team. I think Matt Anderson tried to take something off, maybe was trying to cut it short. Another serve into the net here. 4-point game. Loetti
comes back into the fray.
Serving specialist. He didn't serve that tough in the first time. He just kept it in play. We'll see if he can add a little bit more heat and heaviness to this ball, because you got nothing to lose. If you miss, you got nothing to lose, so just go for it. That's better. Okay. That's tough. Serving specialist, that's one of the toughest jobs. But he tried to do his job, and I appreciate the risk that he's trying to take to get his team back, because you keep it in play, all you do is just put USA back into a good rhythm and destroy the ball from a perfect pass there. Now DeFalco has been serving really well. He has a chance to finish the game, make sure the team just one and done, get it over with, save some energy. Spoke too soon here. I think both teams are just trying really hard. And this is the only downside of the men's game, is you see all these service errors, and even for me, I don't play at the highest level. I play at men's AA in the USA division, but if you serve too easy, it's just really difficult to deal with an in-system offense. That is a bullet. That is that Brazard serve, and probably a big reason why he's able to play in Russia. Oh, you just cannot get out of the way on that one.
There's a timeout.
Now, remember how I said earlier where
The USA.
if you serve hard at somebody, they're going to pass it well. But if you serve really hard, like that one, even they might not be able to control it. Clay Stanley comes to mind. Gregory Grozer comes to mind from Germany. Even if you're in the way there, you still might not pass it. So if Brazard can continue this, it's only a 3-point game. Even if you throw them out of system, make them pass the ball off the net, France has a chance to run away with this set here. So that one wasn't nearly as hard.
Especially after the timeout, it's drawn an error from the USA. They want to touch. Maybe we're
that is a good play, just barely missed it. We've talked about earlier how Micah just seems to be getting Max Holt just outside of his reach, where Max is unable to fully get on top of the ball, paintbrushing. So hopefully Micah, wonder if he'll make that adjustment to give Max a better ball to hit. And knowing Micah, he usually is a repeat setter, meaning if they make an error, he's gonna probably not run the middle from this one too far off the net. But when you're in trouble, who do you go to? Who do you set? You gotta set your go-to guy. And look at that, Matt just screams and celebrates, and he's already mentally moved on to the next point. Now if I'm France, and I know there's a good chance I might lose, I am just going to go balls out. I'm going to get some energy going. How can I carry momentum into my next match? Because there has to be some benefit. Oh, great pass from Grebennikov. Interesting setting choice from... Oh, good hustle from Taylor Sander. Even though that was inside the antenna, the fact that Taylor did not care, he still wanted to go for the ball just in case. You have to go for the impossible balls. That's such an energy booster for your team, even if you lose it. We talked about that in the second set, where great hustle play from Matt Anderson. They lost a point, but all smiles all around. Great momentum builder for the next couple points. Agapet, known as a clutch server, especially leading to the 2016 Olympics. And this has just been the story of France here. 3-0, and what a great start for the U.S. team. We have so many returners from the 2016 squad. These guys are not nervous. They are ready to compete, even without one of their best hitters, Aaron Russell, who is out from hip surgery. So we'll see how France will recover from this loss. This was a tough loss for them. They did their best in the first and second set, and just mentally they could not keep up with the grind of the USA team. The unrelenting service pressure, attacking pressure, and passing stability. They could not break the USA team. Very clean victory. Great match to watch overall. I had so much fun commentating this game, and honestly, it felt very natural. I did stutter and fumble my words a few times, but I'm sure that'll just get better with practice. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do more of these videos, and if you have any feedback for me to improve my commentary. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell so you never miss a video. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more volleyball and jump training content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.